Mobbin 101 is cut from a different cloth. Like, Mobbin 101 has like that 1974 Continental Cutlass Supreme style hustle and swag, man. Like, he's a throwback to the era of truly being true to your word, delivering, being for the people, shaft type energy, but most importantly though, super confident in himself. You can't tell Mobbin 101 that he's not that dude. You can't tell him that there is a ceiling. He doesn't feel it. He doesn't see any ceiling, any glass ceiling. There is never a limit he places on himself. When you see him, when you look at him, when you're talking to him, even in his eyes, they're moving in 360 degrees. He's always thinking about the next move. He's always looking for the next step to take towards securing his future. Because time is something we can never recreate. Once it's gone, it's gone. Everybody's on the clock. The life of Mobbin 101 is not normal. Being a black man in America, incarceration, doubts, nobody to give you the handbook of basic survival, having to learn the hard way, the school of hard knocks. Everybody doesn't graduate. Mobbin 101 is a true hustler, a true survivor, and most importantly, he possesses championship DNA. House of His, Dorian, Vinny, Surge, Radio Pushers. Let's get it.
People, we are live right now inside the House of His studios. We are in Miami. We Built Different Conference weekend. You know, like, a lot of people say the word hustle. A lot of people say I'm a hustler. But where I come from, hustling, man, if you're a hustler, that means you deliver. You actually say something and then you bring it into fruition. When I think about Oakland, I think about the Bay, E40, Too Short. I think about all the legends. Because when you're in Oakland, you're going to survive in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 90s. You got to know, you got to understand the art of adaptation. You got to understand the art of recreation, reinventing yourself. And most importantly, common sense is more valuable than book sense, because common sense will keep you alive a lot longer, because you got to be able to discern things as you see it. Know when danger is there and acknowledge it, and then have your plan B. Hustlers bring a different type of ambition, a different energy. When I met this young king, Mobbin 101, he was talking fast. I remember Westwell had introduced him to Radio Pushers. He was talking fast, and everything was like, instead of like, yo, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Can we do that? And he was like, what about this? What about that? Can you put me over there? What about the extra plays? Da, 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 da. And everything was so like, but he wanted to get the most. Like, time was racing. Then we had a private conversation, I won't get into it on the podcast, about some things he was up against. And my team wrote an article about him on Hip Hop in 1987 about racing against time, which is prophetic to what he's going through. Because when you have one strike, that's one thing. He has two strikes, and he knows what those strikes are. So the ability to have his kind of grit and grind is very, very admirable, and it's aspirational. And it's an example for people. Never let nothing hold you back. Never allow anything to tell you what you cannot be. And when you meet Mobbin 101, even if you see him through the screen, you can feel his intensity. I think that's the best word, intense. And I love it. It's a controlled intensity. It's not like it's out of control. And that's a maturity about him. I love him. Honored, super honored. Hype Fresh Magazine, House of His Studios, Vinny Del Leon, his brother Surge, Radio Pushers, Mobbin 101, Bay Area, Oakland in the building. How you feeling, King?
Oh, man, I'm well. But, I ain't from Oakland, though. I'm actually from East Palo Alto.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, the Bay, the whole area.
It's all good. A lot of people get us all misconstrued. But, Oakland is about 30 minutes across the Dumbarton Bridge. That's our bridge. And we 25 minutes away from Frisco.
Definitely. Well, you know how to give you that Diddy intro so we can bleed into everything, man.
Surely.
I have a lot of respect for you because you never stop moving. You're like a shark. They say if a shark stop moving, it'll drown. Talk to me about, how did you convert all the pain you've been through? Because you've been through a lot, from the legal system, street life, certain dysfunctions in the family, to be Mobbin 101?
Man, that's a very good question, Jay, that you asked. That I often get asked that. I would just say that I'm just hungry, man. You know what I'm saying? I know what it feel like to lose. I know what it feel like to win too, but I really know what it feel like to lose.
I respect
you know what
that.
I mean? I know what it feel like to lose due to my own actions. I know what it feel like to lose due to other people's actions.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't have that. I just can't have that. Time is of the essence. When you leave this earth, all you're gonna leave is your DNA, intellectual DNA, biological. You diamonds in the gold, can't do nothing with it. So I'm trying to leave a legacy. I got 2 jits. You feel me? 1 little boy, 1 little girl. It's up to me. It's up to me.
When you look at them every day, tell me what you see. You got
Man.
2 beautiful children. What do you see?
Little versions of me. A lot of hope.
Yeah,
A lot of love. Unfortunately, due to some of those issues that you mentioned, I don't see my kids every day like most do. You feel me? So I'm dealing with a whole different type of struggle.
Absolutely.
So when I'm going through my pictures and everything, I'm hopeful. I'm real hopeful. I'm hoping that all my hard work they'll be able to benefit off of, and their children will be able to benefit off of. As they say, we need them residuals.
Do you feel like sometimes certain past mistakes always have you in a vice grip?
I will say past errors that I did not correct that end up becoming mistakes.
Okay.
Definitely got me in a vice grip.
Okay. I can sense that a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you psychologically deal with that? Because it's like a boa constrictor wrapping around you. And, a boa constrictor, its pounds per square inch is so strong that's why it can just pop you. I mean, sometimes life can feel that way. How do you unwind that? How do you, psychologically, how do you get out of that?
I try to think about the things that I got 65% or more control over.
I like that.
65% or more. If I don't got that amount of control over it, I'm not going to say I'm not going to care about it. I'm not going to tend to it. But obviously, it may not be for me.
Right.
It may not be for me to worry about it. The things that stress other people are not going to stress me. That does not necessarily mean, again, that I don't care about it. I'm just not stressed out. I'm stressed over some other things.
Right. You put it in perspective. When you were in the operating room, baby coming out, you are Mobbin 101, not your government name. Everything you've been through, explain the fatherhood experience.
When I see my son slide out, my first thought was, he don't even know the type of world that he coming into.
But you brought him in.
Well, I assisted. I ain't necessarily bring him in, but I assisted.
No, I'm just talking about the process creating it.
No, yeah,
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, he. My next thought was, I really hope that he be a better man than I am. Become a better man than what my dad was, and what my grandfather was, so forth and so on. Even the men that's on his mother's side of the family. You know what I mean? I hope Diamond, that's his name. You feel me? I hope Diamond definitely be much better than Mobbin 101.
10 years from now, they watch this interview. He's gonna smile. You know that, right?
I hope so.
You know what I'm saying? No, but that's the motivation.
Not that.
That's the motivation. Everything you do. When I'm talking to West Will or I'm talking to, because I don't have kids, so I can't even relate to that. I mentor kids. I have 3 kids I mentor, single parent, but they're not mine. I didn't create them.
Right.
They didn't come from what's in me. So I know you have a deep connection with that. My connection goes as far as, hey, I'm dropping you back off.
Mm-hmm.
Your connection is forever.
Right.
Which is beautiful. I want to ask you this. You create this music that you feel can change the world. You create this music you think people are going to buy. You create this music that you think people are going to come to see you in concert. You create this music that will bring you to the financial nirvana, so to speak, the promised land.
Definitely.
That's what you
Good
feel.
word.
That's what I'm a journalist, a real one, no cap on the other ones. But I do this. That takes an extraordinary type of being. When people follow something, it could be Jim Jones, the guy who killed all those people. They believe.
Right.
It could be Martin Luther King. They believe. It could be Kendrick. Kendrick Marcus say, meet me in Compton at the IHOP on the corner of 45th and so.
Yeah.
How many people gonna be there?
A good amount.
No, everybody coming. Everybody in Compton, because if you a kid from Compton, that's Kendrick. Kodak Black, when he came from here, it was like, yo, Kodak Black came from my city. You want to be that? I feel like you got that energy.
Definitely.
I do. I mean, you don't have the results yet from that because you're not there. But I just want you to know, I feel like you got that energy.
I appreciate that.
I do. I really do. But the distance between there and here is incalculable. Means you can't calculate it.
Right.
Which means that you gotta travel some miles that you've never traveled for, and there is no map to say, okay, you travel 1,001 mile, you're good.
Right.
A name is a name. Radio Pusher. What did that name belong to? Somebody else. It belonged to people at EAE. We took it. We're here 5.5 years later.
Monumental too.
Because that name had to be transformed into something. A name is what you grow into it. Shout out to Cookie Lyons off Empire. She said, name don't mean nothing. What you grow into it. Mobbin101 can literally, you have that type of star power to do it. I don't want you to lose it, but I also don't want you to neglect the organic side. And I only say that because everything we've ever done has always been organic. Pick up the phone, reach out on SoundCloud, do this, do that. Like I'm talking to Drummer Boy. He's like, yeah, man, I want to make sure I get at that Mobbin101 dude. I'm like, yeah, he gonna buy the album. Yeah, I want to hear some more of the music. I said, he got the song Who? He got another record. You know what I'm saying? Diamonds on My Wrist. That was the first record I heard I liked.
Appreciate you.
And we cleaned it up, you know what I'm saying? Put in rotation. And then I heard Who and was out of here, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, because it works on radio well. But I don't want you to lose that, but I want you to work harder for that in 2023 because not a lot of people have that illuminated light, Kanye West Ultra Beam light off his album he did in 2016, the Ultra Beam light. Listen to that song, you'll hear yourself. Mobbin101, you have come a long way in life. I want you to take all the scars, all the pain, and convert it into combustible energy that's going to take you wherever you want to go, because that's going to take you far, man. I thank you for being on the podcast today. I want you to go in that booth and shut it down, man.
Oh, yeah, indubitably.
Do what you do, man.
Indubitably.
People, Mobbin101, Hype Fresh Magazine, 99.7 The Heat. Let's get it.
I appreciate y'all.